If you are ready, should we roll on? Paula, are you ready as well?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Yes. Hi. So today we have a title and the second, the first module, and the second part of the first module, benchmarking and evaluation methodology. And particularly for today, I've chosen a photo that is shot in Vida Lake, where Anita comes from.
Oh,
And Anita's, yes, that's there. And
that's great.
Anita's project is linked with that lake as well. But particularly this photo for me seems symbolically we are on the same boat. We are flying and rolling over the lake. Someone should lead. Someone should put life jackets on and to get safe over the other coast. Hello, Serbia. Um, this is a pilot project itself from the content wise, as well as from the platform and technical issues wise. And to get safe over the other coast line, there are really a lot of competencies and demands and support need to be done. So that's why for me this photo and is symbolically before, because we are moving towards from Italy now to Latvia, and today's 1.5 hour will be leading from Latvian partners. So who we are. Um, these are, going back too fast. Today, that's me. I'm Aya Freeman, and currently I am lecturer and researcher at Technological University Dublin School of Art and Design. Here it is my second year. Before, for 14 years, I was an associate professor in Art Academy of Latvia and did um, studies in design and arts policy and culture management. Also, parallel on my professional development, I've been working since 2004 with EU-funded projects for NGOs and municipalities. And even before, I am still leading one of the first NGOs in Latvia, which I established in 1997. That was a time when just everything started around non-governmental organizations. And organization itself is about giving and providing informal arts, culture, and design education for children during summers. Yes, in my studies, I am very much focusing, hi everybody, yes, uh, on design for happiness. And that I came across after my doctoral study on design for sustainable social well-being, shifting the values towards the happy result. That's from my side. Paula, could you tell about yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you this evening. Well, I don't have that much of a long work experience. Relatively, I started out a few years back in HR. So I work in a lovely HR team in an IT company. But I am learning a lot in the field, both in practice while working there, and as well. Besides from that, I expand my knowledge all the time in different courses. And through that, I hope I will be able to tell you something and share my knowledge as well from my experiences and on the topic that would come in handy when developing your project as well.
Before going further, Sanya, can you hear me? Or do you have a problem on your side or from our side? Should I ask, can you see the screen and can you hear all us, Ms. Paula? Thumbs up if yes. There is a mark. Yanis would like to speak.
Just
See you,
wanted to
yes.
tell that today it's everything fine for us.
Okay, great. Super. So then let's move and hope that some will join us as well. So for today, we are moving as towards design methods and design principles for your project and idea developments. Right, Ivana can hear. The context and the value creation perspective is today's umbrella subject. We have split this week in two parts. Today we will talk about context and stakeholder mapping, as well as some methods how to deal with these contextual and stakeholder mapping methodologies and strategies. Then we'll move forward value of design, and I particularly will emphasize users studies and from the user perspective, then towards 7 principles of universal design towards inclusive society, and at the end we'll do a design assessment maturity matrix. I am more than sure that two last principles and two subjects today we will cover on Thursday at the end when we'll join the third speaker for this week, Nora, for the second part. Idea and what you will learn or will get to know and the experience that we are sharing with Paula today is understanding the importance of global local context and impact of culture-specific ecosystems. Witness added value of design and on local community and users. Access design as a strategic method and the value for individual projects. So mainly, basically, I will let you know and share, great, Sanya, experience from our, for my, and Paula will share her experience before, from our professional point of view. So please just hold on a chat, but calling back, if you have to ask you the time travel, where are you going and willing to go? Back to the past or to the future? Just hold, write down on a chat, hold on for 30 seconds. And when I said push or enter, just then enter, please. Are you willing to go in the past or the future in your life? Okay, let's press on. Future, future, future. One is past as well. Future, past, 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 future. Great. Yes, future, future, future. Oh, yes. I'm sure that that is Sarah's impact as well from the last week. She was talking about future and future scenarios. But presence, great. Ale, presence, yes. We cannot go into future nor in the past without being present. And today and being present links the future and the past. In future studies, we have to focus today and what's there and link the going back initially, and then we can go to the past. But what else is very important that the future and the past, based on the past, includes some kind of unpredictable situations, unknown. And there is also that the future might most probably is based on today's facts and data, but it is linked with the unknown and irrationality that none of us knows about the future. Also, we make scenarios A, B, C, D. In any case, there will be something that will make a bigger impact on us, on the project and ourselves. And that is a context, of course, that it's outside of our capabilities and possibility to manage. Looking even now, last week we were in Italy, Portugal today is plus 22. Last week Latvia had minus 14. Today is plus 10. Then there is north-south dimension. There is east-west dimension. There is local, there is global. There are different catastrophes that are impacting us, as we all experienced 2 years ago. Suddenly, exactly these days, all the globe was locked down and no travels. And that gave the bigger impact of every project, every implementation. To telling you more about the context itself, have you got a tea, a herbal tea, most probably? Latvians, definitely. How about Italians, Hungarians, Serbians? Have you got a herbal tea at least once in your lifetime? Yes, of course. Have you ever thought about where the phyto aromas or phyto plants are coming from? When you are, except when you are picking up yourself, you know where it comes from. But when you are buying some tea, herbal teas, plants itself, have you thought where it comes from? And even if I am picking a tea, have you ever considered where the plant is growing? This context and the visuals, an example shows that students, at that time I was in Art Academy and we went to John Takara's summer school to Sweden, and that is Grinda Island. And students came up with the concept that before drinking a tea, you are invited to try out and test a soil. In that sense, you feel and trust that the soil is not poisoning. It's not poisoned, and the plant itself is not poisoned as well, that you drink and your whole body is reacting on the external context. In this sense, I would like to invite you to think in a broader sense as well, that the context, it's not only that currently you are locating in your idea, but think wider perspective. Today, very soon, we are going to the first trial and assignment for today. I will invite you to map out your individual projects and stories. And also, we will do only 3 questions. Shortly, we'll start about the current debates about your idea, globally, locally. What is thinking and what is missing from the global debates of your tiny project that is located either in Latvia, Poland, Hungary, Italy. So what debates and these global contextualized externalities that is there but is not linked directly to your project? What can you notice? We will talk about the place, time, people, what are needed for your project, as well as what are going to be consequences if your idea will not be implemented. And maybe that's your idea that you proposed, or the project is better not to be implemented. That might be as well, but at the same time, you might shift it towards something else. And for this specific segment, I will ask you to think of global local data as evidence that is there. And for that reason, some example. let's say till 2050, we all know that we have to be inclusive society and to address inclusiveness and diversities and everything. But from the data perspective, they insist on mobility and mobile accessibility, whereas there will be 17% increase of people who will be affected by blindness or visual impairment. There will be 6% increase of people affected by deafness and hearing loss. 1% disabled people, only 1% in mobility, 1% in wheelchair, and as well as 2.6% of intellectual or cognitive disability. And how does it look? It looks like currently the pinky one is mobile accessibility, whereas as you see, we have to address in the future vision impairment very clearly, and that will give you a kind of glimpse that your project should be perceived from the other perspective. Imagine that your eyes, that you just close your eyes or just make it very narrow, but can you see then? And how can you participate in the project ideas that you are proposing and developing? The same, what is not addressed clearly is color blindness, hearing impairment, as well as intellectual. So for next 5 minutes, there is a link, and you received a link from Rocco as well for today. Floor blindness, yes, that's smell and sense, all 5 senses, and we will move towards the sensual and senses as well today. There is a link, and when you go for a Miro board, and Paula has developed 40 tiny screens, so let's collaborate. And you have there 3 questions already. And for Miro board, we ask you to take 1 page of sheet or one box that you are going to develop. But the others, meanwhile, during the week, you can interact and comment on your proposals as well. So please provide some answers. What are the current debates about your idea, particular place, time, and resources you will focus on, as well as what might be consequences if your idea will not be implemented. So 5 minutes, and let's go for Miro board. Can you access?
Tas ir caur Instagram, tas, jā?
So
No,
drop the link in the chat.
Yes, please, Paula.
To access. And then, as Aya said, there are frames there. So frame 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 40. They aren't assigned, but you can pick a frame and then write your name right down in the corner.
Yes, I can see that Ella already has took a frame. See?
Sign up with email or sign up with Google.
How can you?
I think the easiest way would be with Google. You won't have to fill anything in, so you will just be able to log in with your email. See that there are multiple people there now, so you can pick your space that you would like to work on.
Have you managed? Paula, most probably you can grant access if needed.
I can, but right now I.
I must write somewhere. I didn't understand. I must write somewhere. There are 2 questions.
Yeah, you pick up one frame. Yeah, you pick up frame, write your name. Like here is Ella from Portugal already. You can see on the screen as well. Alexandra, Diego is working on. Let's say write at least one, pick up one question that you want to answer and can answer immediately. Most probably for some you have to do research or dig deeper, and then you can elaborate later on as well. Paula, can you see who is writing what?
Yes, I can see all the names moving around.
Could you please note some? What is time? What is there? As I can't see so easily.
Sorry?
Sorry, can you repeat what?
Can you read out some
to do?
ideas? What is there?
No.
Yes. So from Ella, I see that she wrote an answer on the first question. So what are the current debates about the idea globally or locally? So debates about rural regeneration in Portugal are about new colonialism. Portugal is seen as the California of Europe and is attracting many Chinese, Russian tourists and wealthy people buying up properties. And due to visa policies, the rural areas are in favor too. And how can we help them accessible for the local citizens?
Hmm. If you can support this by data as well, that would be great to have a support for this kind of particular. Is it positive, negative, and how to? And some other more?
Then we have, I'm not sure who's working on this page, but for question number 2, what particular place, time, and or resources will you focus on? Welcome all people who are interested in the education program of my foundations. My focus on the herbal teas and clay work, but is super sophisticated.
Mm-hmm. We'll discuss about welcome all people just shortly in a few minutes. And one more, Paula, can you please read out at least one more?
I see, Alexandra. I think that what will be the consequences if the idea will not be implemented? I will be sad, but I will look for other solutions or prepare better for the next year, which is, I think, great. And you can just keep on going and don't stop until you until you go all the way.
Great, and please continue afterwards as well during till the next class that is on Thursday. But now I will pass the mic to Paula about stakeholders and who leads your project itself.
Yes, so not
Right,
only
so
you
screen.
need to talk about the
No, it's not
value
there.
of your project. Yeah, I don't see the presentation. I see the Miro board.
Yeah, but it's not because Miro board is not there.
Yes, you'll be able to finish the questions in your homework.
No, I'll stop share screen and we'll do again. Yeah, strange. Rocco? On the screen. Because I haven't shared screen. That's
We can see your screen. You can just go to the presentation.
yes, now it is.
Okay, great. So, yes, as I mentioned, it's also important to think about other parties and values that will be involved in your project as well. Not only to think about what is your project or product or organization, but who will be also involved in the steps and in developing this project and bringing it to life. So, what are stakeholders? Stakeholders are individuals or groups or any party that have an interest in the outcome of an organization or project. And these can be divided into internal and external stakeholders. But the primary stakeholders are investors, employees, customers, and suppliers. And the stakeholder mapping theory is based on a theory developed by Robert Edward Freeman. And it states that the stakeholders can create an environment of like-minded people, which in return promotes social wealth for everyone and allows working with these people who believe in making a difference and contributing to a healthy and competitive ecosystem. So, yes. And well, business operations rely mainly on the internal stakeholders' ability to work together towards the business goal or the project goal. But the external stakeholders affect the business indirectly. So managing relationships between these internal and external stakeholders is key to long business success. And without these stakeholders, there would be no projects. And engaging project, please go back 1 second. I will let you know if we can move forward. Yes, thank you. And yeah, these stakeholders can get involved in different decision-making processes and influence your project or organization and its actions in a way that is helpful for your team and for you as a project manager. Yes, you can move forward. And there is a quote by Freeman that states that the task of the executor or the manager is to create as much value as possible for stakeholders without resorting to trade-offs. But in order to bring value to your stakeholders, you have to recognize the stakeholders, their needs, and what they can bring to your project. So that brings me to the next slide, where you will be able to see some of the steps you can take most important steps that you can take in stakeholder mapping to develop your stakeholder journey and define who will be the parties involved and what will they bring to you and what you will bring to them in return as well. So the first step you can take is to define the purpose of your stakeholder map. So are you creating a new product or feature? Are you preparing to enter a new market or a niche or developing something completely new? And what information do you want to include? So once you have a clear idea of the purpose of this stakeholder map, you can move forward to the next step, which is to identify your stakeholders and build their personas. And this would be the step when you can brainstorm with your team as well. So it's important to think carefully about everyone that would be potentially involved in your project at every stage of the process. And that means both to think about the external and internal stakeholders as well. The third step you can take is to determine what gains each stakeholder can give to the project. So some examples may include higher productivity from employees, lower shipping rates from suppliers if you need to, or higher profits, or just a good brand image. And once you have identified your stakeholders, you need to determine what level of investment they will take in your project. So there are 3 levels: high, medium, and low. And you would need to think carefully about which level each stakeholder belongs in, keeping in mind that most probably high involvement stakeholders will be external to your organization, so external stakeholders, while low involvement stakeholders would be your colleagues or employees, so depending again on the nature of the project. Then what you do is you can identify the areas of interest and specific goals for the stakeholders. So what does each stakeholder stand to gain from your project? What are their goals? What are their main concerns or issues that could get in the way? If you have maybe potential blockers that would be in your project, this would be a good step to define those as well. So once you identify these areas, you can begin to think about how to best engage with your stakeholders. So this would be step number 6. So what communication channels will you use to communicate with them? What type of information will you share with them? How will you engage each stakeholder as you develop your map and begin your project and launch your idea? So once you have developed an engagement plan, you can begin implementing it and working towards to achieving your goal and launching your project. So you can
Calling, yeah, Paula.
Yes, you can move forward.
Okay, as the name persona was mentioned, so what is persona from the stakeholder point of view, and what persona consists? Usually persona is a fictitious user or fictitious partner that corresponds to the particular group or specific real person and contains personal information, demographic information, image, goals, motivation, needs, and pain points. And pain points might lead the problems and to the SWOT analysis or where the interaction should be done. So that's persona contains. And let's see example of persona. As you can see, she's young, under 44 years of age, 25 years in between, so 44, 25, female, more than the user itself. She's engaged in that medium across approximately 3.45 minutes, and the readers is growing. And the idea is, who is she and who is she representing as a persona? And this exactly the example shows a real persona demonstrated from the stakeholder or the owner of some I would not like to name currently, but I'm kind of asking you to guess or to do you know what she might be? Yes, Mark.
Yes, we think that she is influencer most
Do you
probably.
have an idea? So, what is most probably?
That she is influencer.
Might be. um, she's a reader of RTE news, particularly RTE news of culture and arts sector. Yes, our project as well. So, but that represents how a persona is shown and communicated. And I see that some questions. I'm Marta. I'm trying still to get hold of what exactly my project is to work on. Oh, great question. What exactly your project is to work on? I'm not sure what is your project. Within the framework of inviting more locals to the bakery, okay, you are going to bake or you have a bakery, but the vision is to give our place the rural social dimension. Rural social dimension, are you located in a rural area or in a town? Of creating value to those living there. Here, definitely, the first value should be for locals, and then you can expect that someone else is willing to go there. Yes, you're located in a rural area. I would say that the first value is for you, then the locals, and there is I did not include in today's, but there is a theory of kind of group of family that your maximum can be closed with 19, and around 50 persons, and the maximum rural development or community development is linked with 150 persons itself. But that most probably I can comment on that and tell more on Thursday. But definitely the first is you yourself, then your very close community, and then you can move to more global, and then even to map outside you. Let's say, are you in Sweden? Between locals, but throughout the countryside of Sweden, we see a large gap between locals and the urge to buy local. Yes, that's the problem, I think, all over, except then you can link to local regional development agencies. But definitely the first story and the value is for yourself and local community. And then you can invite even to cross Baltic Sea from Latvia or come from Italy, particularly to your Swedish tiny village, to your bakery as well. But we'll come back to this, the value of for users. So the persona and how to map out persona is, or the stakeholder and the user. We are still on the stakeholder mapping. Pay attention what users or stakeholders do and not what they say. In that sense, the observation, different photos, ethnographic studies, meaning that you record or see it visually, you see on a Facebook's Instagram accounts or TikTok accounts, and people are willing to expose their habits and everyday life out. And if you are observable and can define the niche or those gaps or pain points where you can interact, and at that moment you can create a better value for local stakeholders or the global ones. So that is observation. Then there is psychographic study as well. You map out stakeholders' interests, hobbies, activities, personality, lifestyle choices, and all these data combine persona itself. So the one are saying why someone is interested in your project, and demographic data says who is gonna be your user or stakeholder, and even more those studies behind these methodologies drive your emotional responses or our emotional responses and motivations to be engaged, even moral, ethical, and political values, why we are supporting one or other service or product, attitude, biases, and prejudices as well. So persona profile behind target audience, stakeholder, community groups, and I kindly will invite you to watch until Thursday the film Kitchen Stories, and that should be already on platform itself. But if not, we'll send out you a link with English subtitles. The film shows is a Norwegian-Swedish co-production and gratefully demonstrates these studies behind new product development for kitchen appliances, particularly, but the story itself is very human-oriented and human-centered itself. So that's then you will understand better how these methods are working for mapping out user needs or stakeholder needs. So going back to stakeholders as a persona, Paula.
Yes. So if you still have that quote by Edward Freeman in your mind, that we need to talk about creating value as well for your stakeholders. And this is important because if you create value for your stakeholders, you build a large supportive group of stakeholders. And this may be a good asset to a company or your project that would lead you to competitive advantages, favorable legislation, or positive brand image. So the stakeholder value is a business concept that companies use to create the best possible levels of return for their stakeholders, and that you can use also for in your projects. And there are three dimensions of return, which are emotional, which would be returns that offer security or good feelings to promote trust within a project. Financial, which of course would be returns related to money. And functional, that would be returns that offer flexibility and choice to increase productivity. But keep in mind that the levels of return can be different to different stakeholders. So for some stakeholder, the emotional return can be bigger, while for others, the financial return is bigger. So you also need to think about those factors. And to determine a stakeholder value position, you may choose to communicate with your stakeholders to define these values. You can use polls, you can use feedback cycles from your stakeholders or people involved. You can conduct regular meetings and interviews with them because you will need to discover and understand what is important to them and what benefits they're hoping to get from the organization as well. So the more you care about your stakeholders, the more likely they will do the same for you. So I guess that brings to the next slide, which is another step in your task that you can do either now, or if you don't finish now, you can also do that at home. So you can think about some of the potential stakeholders that would be involved in your project. Would they be internal or internal? If you need employees, if you need suppliers, and what could be their potential goals and interests in specifically your project, and what level of return would they get if they get involved in your project.
So we invite you go back to the Miro board, and the Miro board itself is a map of stakeholders of this project and pilot itself. So all 40 practitioners, and we can dig deeper in your project via sharing. And meanwhile, I am seeing that there are great responses of the film itself. I will put, or Rocco, if you could assist from the platform to add and link the link for the kitchen stories already, so people can upload. Yes, it's great story itself, and I'm watching that film with students every year, more than twice even, and all the time I find something, some minor nuance, a new one again. Please, I will not log in Miro, Board, and Paula, if you could please again share what is typed there and what is mapped out from the stakeholder perspective.
Sure, I will
maybe
put the information in the Miro board as well. So once you get a chance to do your homework and this and the Miro board, you will also have information on that as well there.
But let's start now already to understand if it's working and what should be done.
Okay,
and
so
even,
you want to read?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so for Ella again, who would be your potential stakeholders? Internal, that would be the core team and local municipality. External would be local entrepreneurs, museum staff, and regional government.
Mm-hmm. And some level of return.
Let me find if somebody has gotten to that part. I don't see that anybody has gone to the third question yet.
Could you give us a definition of functional return, Paula?
Yes, of course. Anything that would maybe give more productivity to your to the stakeholder, that would offer more flexibility and would increase their productivity maybe as well. So collaboration.
In other words, may we say that it's effectiveness?
Yes, you can also say it like that.
So in one term, from stakeholder theory, it's functional return. From the other theories, that might be effectiveness of efficiency or the benefits for stakeholders. Is someone typing more?
What would be the stakeholders' goals and interests? What value would your project bring to them? The goal would be to have a cultural activity where they can easily join, preferably for free, having a space to meet outside the gardens.
Mm-hmm. Some gardens gonna be developed. Seems so. Some more.
Mm-hmm. The project will reactivate the historic city center and will give visibility to local artists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, someone wrote that they don't use the word stakeholder in their mission, so they have partners and friends, not stakeholders. And that term, the friends and
that's
partners
great.
would be the stakeholders of their project.
Yeah, that's the great point. And I should say that methodology or method persona is dying out. And it's not going to be used in the nearest future anymore because we all are personalities and we all are humans. And that's the last one, particularly mapped out that we want to be addressed individually. and not as a group of representative somehow, but we have a name and personality and features. So that's, yes, persona still are there in design studies and user studies, but very soon it's not going to be used, and it's used already less and less and less. So the importance of persona methodology is yes, somehow external and contexts are bringing something new instead. And may I ask you again, please, hold on and just think for 30 seconds. What annoys and hinders you when a product or service or a process does not satisfy you, does not work, does not meet expectations, or not fulfills your needs? Just hold on. What do you feel, or what are your senses? In that sense, answering, have you experienced design, a good design itself? So when you are ready, submit or enter in a chat. Not fulfill my need. Loss of time. Does not meet expectations. They who did not manage. Can you name at least one good emotion or something beneficial to you when the product or service does not work properly? Most probably not. So that was the background idea. Why do I say that design, you need to be creative? Yes, of course, find another solution. Why design is a method of identifying a real need. And so precisely you target, precisely you niche, and figure out what is needed. The most opportunity to look for other products, of course. So design is at the end creates happiness for all of us, and at the end, all the products and services are for better quality of life. And if you keep in mind also for your results and for your products that the only what matters is that you are satisfying. I'm sorry, someone is having a mic on. Can you please mute? Yes, thank you. So if you keep in mind that at the end of your product or service, you are satisfying users to be the most happy and got the best emotional result, so that's you are planning the best outside. And from the customer or user point of view, it's absolutely subjective, and we all stay a client or stakeholder when we see a value, personal value. In that sense, again, there is no average user, there is no average stakeholder. It's personal attitude, personal involvement, and personal value. And for the value itself for a product, there is a great theory, the paradox of value, that's been created and defined already on the 18th century by economist Adam Smith. And there is a value in use and value in exchange. If we, let's say, the first explaining the value for users or stakeholders or friends or families or partners, human beings, the ones who see the value of water will never see the value of diamond. As well, if we exchange the value of the water, if we have plenty enough, most probably it is hardly to exchange on the same level as we can exchange a diamond if we have it. So this means, again, the context and the usability and the situations matter when we are planning our services or products or projects or ideas implementation. The value in use and the value exchange, they rarely meet each other in this paradox of value, activity, and external conditional environment. That's why to map out what is there globally, up till down to local, the Swedish example of the bread baking or bakery itself, what is the value that we bring to ourselves, our families, and communities. And now we're moving towards from the general value to a user experience metrics from design perspective. Let's say satisfaction, and these are customers or clients or users, all those synonyms that are used out there. We are until we perceive value. Again, calling back that subjective. We see and perceive value even before the product or service being used or bought at some stage of point. And the value itself is absolutely qualitative from consumer experience point of view. And in that sense, again, linking back, planning happiness and satisfaction at the end of our products or ideas. Let's start planning experiences far ahead before we have experienced that. And there are emotional triggers versus rational ones, and also all the emotionals cannot be quantified. They might be addressed as emotional attachment, behavior, satisfaction, attitude, values, social, cultural background, and marking out social cultural background. We can rarely implement project that is developed in other culture to transfer the next even doors. Let's say I've been working very much with Swedish Institute in Stockholm, and to implement Swedish projects in Latvia, it's never been a one-to-one. We always have to take in account our local cultural, social background, and only then we can implement the idea similar, the same that it was carried out in Sweden. Very specific, and I would emphasize aesthetics, as aesthetics is important for quality of life and community itself, and visual pollution or readability, and as well as durability, I would say. And soon I will explain why. So the next parameter is usability and user satisfaction and experiences, how the usability is performed at the end. But it is too late to address experience and usability when the idea is implemented already. So let's start and going backwards. So backcasting again, we feature and we vision last week what is going to be the future, and from the future we stepping back step by step, addressing these features that our ideas can be implemented at the best experience and satisfaction for end user. task success, user satisfaction experiences, again, errors, product and service functionality, technical performance, consistency, effectiveness, and integrity are the measures. And aesthetic itself are built in cultural defined content, as just explained the Swedish, but as well, let's say from design perspective, we know Italian design, we know Scandinavian design, we know Dutch design, but it really matters in the context when it's created and the personal meanings and the perception itself towards aesthetic that is inherited and narrated in our harmony as well, form and function in harmony, of course. And to find the aesthetics that is very rooted in our historical sense of as who is telling this form and function and harmony, and eyes, of course, we somehow resonate to the emotional experience and emotional country-specific attributes rather than global trends and principles. And to have an example of why aesthetic matters, I would like to highlight the broken window theory that was the first implemented in New York Metro and Underground in 1980s, 1990s. And the theory itself says that a broken window that is left unattended or unrepaired can lead to other ones. So in that sense, giving a message that environment is not taken care of, and the crime and not so well developed or quality of life is going down. So in that sense, again, caring of aesthetics in local communities and environments and repair each broken window can lead to the better quality for community itself. And in this sense, yes, the crime was very high in New York underground around 80s, and the police commissioner William Barrett decided to implement and face broken window theory. When New York Metro came to the station, and each one of these graffiti were cleaned up and painted, and none of trains came out with graffiti on them. And of course, the outcome was that community felt much safer, and the experience was much higher of using underground itself. And now we move towards user studies and perceived design value indicators. And this is my postdoctoral study that I carried out during 2017 and 2020, answering the question, how does design adds value? I knew from professionally and from as a civil servant working at Ministry of Culture in Latvia, that entrepreneurs, professionals, and civil servants are using a term, design adds value. But how? How can we witness and how can we even measure or experience that design adds value? Looking towards the professional literature, I could not find an answer. And I proposed that that's going to be my study. And the study was funded by European Regional Development Fund, which the project I wrote and competed with other scientists as well. Initially, I thought to come up with five universal indicators that we can witness that design adds value. But after study and asking around and respondents, I came up with 6 and 2 different type of indicators for products and services. And what product indicators witness that we value very much convenient products that refers to fitting a person's needs, activities, plans with little effort, meaning that if the product is convenient, that at the end we use it with a greater satisfaction, or even that creates an emotional attachment. Useful, it's applied for practical purpose in several ways, meaning that it is useful in one or other way as well. Aesthetic itself, locally, now my personal. I will come back to that as well. Durable, durable means that we can, or the product itself is long lasting than 1% of goods or products that are bought and after the first time usage are thrown away. So users value that products last longer than being used only once. It is singular, referring to personal values and personal environment and personal cultural, social satisfaction. And safe. Safe, I should say that safe came into indicators list itself because Generation Z, that is the youngest ones, not really youngest, but currently coming into the market for as a students as well as employees, as well as baby boomers, they who are in between millennials and silent generation. At some point, they referred that safe is very important to them. I should say that these indicators were highlighted and precisely developed in 2019 before the global catastrophe, let's say, happened. Being consistent for study, I should include only 5, but I said that I have a sense that safe should be included as well. And at that moment, I did not know that safe will resonate to the global context, and shortly will show you. For service design, users valued accessible service, and accessible includes not only physical but also financially and emotionally ability and access to services themselves. Perceivable, being conscious of delivered external, interpersonal, emotional, as well, that is this moment of interpersonal, emotional attitude and promised or expected result or expected experience. Intelligible refers that service is understandable and self-explanatory, that we just can access and use service clearly and without misleading. It's experienceable, referring to practical contact with an observation of facts or events, and impression of the recipient itself. That is personal, referring to singular before. It's timely, it's on appropriate time, and again, it's safe. Very important. And I will ask you to go to, you have an PDF sent by Rocco to Miro board, but while you are logged in, or just leave it for the last 15 minutes, I will explain and tell you the context why it's so important. So the study, yes, I defined 2019, and I should say, luckily, external conditional context, meaning COVID-19 came up, that gave an extreme situation that I could validate these indicators. And believe or not, and thankful to the COVID time itself, it's defined fluctuation or ranking importance of depending of external context itself. That's why I started today with external mapping out that we face, and that impacts how do we value each product, or how we are perceiving each product or service that we are delivering or are linked to. And I just can invite you to read and to reflect what is going out there, not only in the local community, because we are all linked together. These external situations in 2019-20, what happened, dig deep down to each individual in the tiny village and tiny household. And as you can see, in general, safe was the last or the least valued indicator, and it came very important one. As well as for service, it was not included initially, but it became very important for millennials, let's say, and Gen Zs. And these indicators or quality assurance from design are just tiny different from each of the generation, but in general, they are the same. And calling back again, water diamond paradox, design principles and values are depending, and design creates value regarding on external context as well as personal or subjective context, meaning that we value subjectively the water or the diamond. And that's why for going further with your idea development from design perspective, call back external situations as well as subjective. And for this assignment particularly, I invite you on a Miro board, reflect your personal point of view, not going for stakeholders, not going for your target audience or friends or families, but there is something that why did you brought up the project idea itself, and what are the value you see from your point of view, individually, subjectively, to carry out your ideas. That first. And I will finish the homework and we'll go for Miro, and we have some minutes more left to reflect everything on a Miro board as well. So the assignment, the first is going to be to watch the Kitchen Stories film for tonight, and on a platform there is, but there is a link as well. And yeah, define the stakeholders, but more of even I would say to find the value of your ideas, what you can see from here. So Kitchen Stories there. Have you I can't access the film from platform? Okay, I will put a link now in a chat, and I will connect as well a Miro board, and let's have a reflection and discussion, but from your project idea perspective. So that's from theoretical perspective. Today is everything, but I'm while the YouTube is connecting, and I can link in a chat. Basically, local know-how, my personal experience, education, my personal magic. Absolutely, yes, and no one can say it's not. Can't access film. Adam Apples also cool. What is Adam Apples? Ah, film is blocked. Interesting. Should not be. Stop share that screen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us, please, what is it? Well, I'm looking for Kitchen Stories. Yes, this is a module link. Now is a chat here. There should be Kitchen Stories. Can you try out, please, if it's now I should go to Miro. Yes, YouTube. Yes, should be. And now I have to deal with the Miro board. How can I get the Miro board back on? Oh, interesting. Can't. At least when you type the Kitchen Stories with subtitles. But Marta, you can understand Norwegian and Swedish. Originally, the film is in Swedish, the Norwegian. Homework on a Miro is you have a time, but it would be great to match until Thursday. We can go back and click and link what you have done, and I encourage you to comment on your mates as well and peers, and to try engage with the ideas, as most probably we have to slowly get familiarized with the ideas that you are carrying out and developing for the future. But we'll still meet on Thursday when Nora will come in with other KPIs and metrics, and I will continue universal design and design self-assessment metrics as well. But still, they who can, please go on a Miro while I'm looking for access myself. I think I found. So let's meet on a Miro board. Do you have any questions? Regarding homework, the first you map out external context or data internationally, globally, and locally that matters to your project. There are 3 questions on a Miro board, and they've been sent out to you as well by Rocco as a PDF. Then watch the film, enjoy tomorrow evening, as the film reflects the ethnographic study itself and new product development process behind, and map out your values, either from product or service perspective that matters to you personally, why you are carrying out that particular project idea you proposed, or you are gonna shift and change to the other one if it does not make a sense. Is it clear, Ivana? Oh, great. I can see you have been working so hard on a Miro board. And there are so many frames taken. I think Rocco sent you by email as well, PDF. And on a platform, there is a lecture already, and then the Thursday as well. I'm really sorry if I can't keep up sometimes. It's fine, of course. Let's say keep up sometimes for training and online training. Online training itself, it's not easy one. We have to break the screen to feel the energy and to go to your heart and to feel you. It's not easy from both sides. So as we all time saying that we have to row across the lake safe together, and there is no right or wrong, and there might be mess, but there are still possibilities to go safe, either with life jacket or without life jacket, and to trust yourself. So yes, in person it would be completely different. But from the other side, imagine online has been given a possibility to meet from 6 countries on one time, the same moment, and to even not seeing so many faces, kind of see that they are people, real people behind your emails, email addresses on. Yeah, and I really do emphasize and feel that you are managing NGO in real. And that's great. So we have something in common, and I think a lot of us have that in common, that we are rural or a countryside practitioners and activists and enthusiasts. And let's take the platform as a sharing experience and sharing our knowledge from tutor side, as well as I'm sure when we will have a possibility to listen to your experience, I will learn a lot from you as well. And I'm honestly looking forward to Italy when some will share the personal stories, but those behind the screen, I'm more than willing to learn from your real life experience as well. As believing or not, that's the only way to go, to share, to be honest, and to trust each other and to move forward. My Miro board as well, can see, not so easy. I will take a time still after we will finish an online on a platform to read and to comment on your Miro boards, and we'll do it also on Thursday as well. So please take your time. And oh, Carlos, it's almost finished already. Who else can see the name? Annalisa as well. Great. Thank you so much for sharing the mapping out. As I said, it takes time. It takes time to dig for data. It takes time to reflect your values regarding to your projects as well as stakeholders, or let me call them friends, family, community, users, respondents, or all those type of synonyms. And thank you for being tonight, and see you again on Thursday online, the same platform. Thank you, Eva. To dig for the Thursday, you can look on a platform. There are already content available. So we will reveal and flesh out the next 1.5 hours on Thursday, of course, not today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice evening and enjoy the film. Yeah, some are still working on Miro. Great. Congratulations. I can see it. Mm-hmm. If someone has some question, please, I'm still on a platform and can answer.